Eileo guys, and welcome back. So today is finally the day. I know I said I was going to do it, and hey, I know it took a little bit of time, but we're here. We're not going to talk about it. Let's just go ahead and get right into it. Alright, so over here in today's monster review, we have Perse, which is actually my third time this time doing the Persephone video, because things keep changing, but hopefully this is the definitive version until something else changes. But I just wanted to show you guys quickly before we go into it is if you hit this little button over here with any nat 5 that has ultimate evolution, you can hit that one and it'll give you the stats of that mon with the ultimate evolution up there. And also when you click on their skills, we'll take a look at their skills as well. So do remember that ultimate evolution skills aren't randomized. So when you get the trinkets to ultimate evo that certain mon, they're always going to have a certain amount of stats and also a certain ability attached to their already 2 abilities. But let's go ahead and dive right in with Dark Perse, and then I'll do Fire Perse at the end because sometimes I like to change it up and, you know, go from dark to fire versus fire to dark all the time, because I got to give the people what they want. And if you guys do like the video, feel free to like it. If you haven't considered subscribing, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on the latest and greatest from MSL and more coming from your boy Eileo. But anyways, let's take a look at the stats on her and then we'll get into the skills. So Dark Perse is sitting at nearly 30k HP. She's also sitting at 4.4k attack and then 3k defense. So ultimate evolution, attack stat is just beautiful, HP is fine, and defense is fine as well. Very similar to the, I think, Wet and Wood Arthur, but she's a dark type, meaning she gets additional bonus from her crit damage. For her 3-star skill, she has Morale Boost, which grants 100% chance to restore 30% of her own SP when attacking, which will directly lead us over here into her 5-star skill, which is Predator, which increases her damage dealt by 50%. This is pretty chunky and pretty significant though, because she has a way to generate SP regardless of the orb situation, meaning she's going to get to her 5-star skill very, very quickly. And for her variant skill, she also has the critical rate lead, which isn't really that good, but you're not running Dark Perse because you want her lead. You're running Dark Perse because it's Dark Perse. And for her ultimate skill, she has Undying Volition, and when her HP is at 35% or below, it grants herself, notice I said herself, the Undying buff for 4 turns. This effect can only be gained once per round, meaning if her HP gets low, the Undying Volition buff will pop up on her, which obviously can prevent damage and have her survive hopefully for extra turn. So even if you try to nuke her, essentially right here, this is guaranteeing her, if I'm reading this correctly, at least one more turn before imminent death, which could make or break things depending on that situation. So a very, very spicy ultimate skill right there, at least in one man's opinion. Very, very, because she's already a threat and you're trying to take care of that threat, but that threat's just like, nah bruh, I'm still here. It's very, very problematic. But we can see what her books. Her Morale Boost receives a whopping 25% damage increase, and then her Predator also receives a 25% damage increase of just raw damage, which is still, I mean, it's pretty potent. I mean, they can't do too much else to her without her just already being absolutely bonkers, because the ultimate evolution really brought back Dark Perse. Like before, she was fine. And before she was basically, I wouldn't say top tier, but she was very, very good to have. And then with the whole trinket introduction and puncture, etc., she kind of dropped off. But Ultimate Evolution has brought her right back to the top, boys. So if you have a Dark Perse, which I do on my main account, just not on the casual account, it's definitely worth it if you can get her to her Ultimate Evolution, which I sadly have not. Moving forward though, we have Light Perse, who is a defender type, and she's coming in with 34k HP, 2.9k attack, and then 3.9k defense. So she's a defender. Her HP is getting close to the tank range, but still fairly decent. Her attack stat is nearly 3k, even though she's a defender. There's attackers out here with less attack than what she has. That's pretty nice. And then obviously her defense stat is nearly 4k, which I have no complaints about whatsoever. So her stats are still pretty chunky here. But let's go over here and take a look at her skills real quick. So for her 3-star skill, she shares the similar move as to what Dark Perse has, but her morale boost is 20% of allies' SP when attacking, and not herself, meaning all allies on the field, including her, every time she does her 3-star skill, she's supplying the whole entire squad with SP, which obviously can be very, very annoying. And then her 5-star skill, which the 3-star skill synergizes well with because it leads into that 5-star skill, is Shock, which grants a 60% chance to shock the target for 2 turns. And obviously I meant to say targets because her move is an AoE. And while that isn't super duper potent, I can't recall, we'll check with books or not if that raises up her percentage of shock. But even though if it's not super duper potent, if you have other mons supplying her with SP and she's supplying other mons with SP, you're going to just be bombarded with anything and everything. So hopefully something should stick, especially if they're running like a discernment lead. You could potentially have some issues here. And then with our ultimate skill, we have Purification, which grants a 20% chance to cleanse all negative effects from herself when being hit by an attack. So this isn't per turn. This means that if she gets stunned in the same turn that you hit her with another mon, there's a 20% chance that that stun is just negated. So if you hit her with a stun and another mon comes and hits her and they don't apply any crowd control, and it's, you know, obviously there's resist involved as well, but say for instance they had no crowd control, congratulations, Purification procced, she's now unstunned, meaning that she's going to be able to act. So some strategies definitely involved with that. And I mean 20% isn't super duper high. Obviously that's what, like, there's a 1 out of 5 chance of this happening. That could be potentially a big issue because this is procced per monster move. It's not per turn or, you know, per duration, X duration, whatever. It's per mon move, meaning more times than not, she could possibly act when you don't want her to, which will be very problematic because she could basically feed SP to someone else and congratulations, you're screwed. But let's take a look at her books. Her morale boost receives a 20% damage, well, I can't read, 30% damage increase, and then her shock receives a 20% damage increase and goes to 70% for 2 turns. 70 obviously is a lot better than 60, nothing too spicy, but with her ultimate evolution and her being booked up even in terms of the shock in general, paired up with other defensive mons that spam out crowd control, this could be very, very problematic. So once again, in my opinion, a very, very good addition to the Ultimate Evolution squad. Moving forward though, we have Wood Purse, who is a balance type. She's coming in with 36k HP, 3k attack, and then 3.2k defense. I mean, the purse's designs, even though I didn't say that before, they look super duper awesome. It's just that Wood Purse has always been a bit of a weird champ because of her kit. So let's go ahead and take a look at her kit while I'm on this subject, because her stats, they're fine. They don't really add anything to her, which if you guys haven't checked out my whole Super Evolution / Ultimate Evolution tier list, you should go and check that out. It's really going to help you out, even though it's only one man's opinion. But for her 3-star skill, she has Sap, which grants a 100% chance to inflict the enemy with 2 types of Sap for 1 turn. And then for her 5-star skill, she has Attack Down, which grants a 100% chance to reduce the enemy's attack for 2 turns. The issue with her is her skills. Her skills are just bizarre. Yes, she is technically a sapper, but you just don't want her to have, you just never want her to have any SP, because why do I want her to do attack down when I want her to sap? So she's a sapper, but she's not a dedicated sapper, and her sap is only 1 turn. I mean, 100% chance is pretty nice, but I wish it was 3 turns sap instead of 2 turns, but it is what it is. So if you were manually using her for content where you need sap because you don't have any other sappers, I can totally understand that. Moving on though, with her 5-star skill Attack Down, yes, she can prevent damage being applied to your mons in certain situations, but there's not many situations where I feel like I need a 5-star Attack Down being applied. Now, I may be in a different area or a different level of progression than other players, especially newer players out there, but I've never felt a need to require this. So to anyone out there rocking Wood Purse, are you rocking Wood Purse because you just like her design? Do you not have any other sappers? Or you're just like, I think she's fine? Like, feel free to leave that in the comments below, because that could help someone else out. But with her ultimate skill, she does have Resistance Down, which grants a 17% chance to reduce the enemy's resistance for 2 turns upon attacking an enemy suffering Attack Down status. Meaning, once she gets her 5-star skill off, I'm assuming this means that there's a chance for a Resistance Down to also be applied after she attacks them. But the issue with this, though, is a 17% chance is extremely low. I mean, 20% with Light Purse's purification is already low, but she's going to be getting hit anyways. But a 17% proc chance after her attack down has went off is extremely low. And like I said with the tier list video for the Ultimate Evolutions, my main gripe with this move is if I bring a Mon that has resistance down, like Light Griffin, like Water Hana, like even Water Banshee, why do I need this ultimate skill? Why do I need to try and rely on this ultimate skill to go off when I have resistance down 100% of the time every single turn? It's literally no point. That's what I see with this skill right here. It literally doesn't add anything to her because I've already brought a Mon that can do her job and I don't have to rely on this 17% chance of doing it. At least that's the way that I see it, you guys. I could be wrong though. I could be wrong. But anyways, let's take a look at her books real quick. So for her 3-star skill Sap, which is 2 turns for 100% chance for 1 turn, that sounds very confusing. But she has a 20% damage increase and it goes to 2 turns, 100% of 2 times Sap, which isn't bad, but I don't really suggest throwing your Nat 5 books into Wood Purse, but it's none of my business. And then her attack down receives a 20% damage boost and it also gets extended, I believe, to 3 turns. So yeah, my opinion on just Wood Purse Ultimate Evolution wise, it's that orange just isn't worth the squeeze. As a sapper, yes, this raises up her survivability, but if she's already surviving and doing her job as a sapper, this doesn't change anything but slightly more raw damage from her. The resistance down, 17% chance of it proccing after her attack down has been put on, completely and utterly nullified if you run a Mon with a resistance down lead, discernment. If you run a Mon that has like an AoE resistance down, or even if you run like a Water Hana, or like I said, Water Banshee, whoever has resistance down, there's literally no reason why she was done this dirty. Just saying. But anyways, moving forward, we have Water Purse over here who's also a balanced type. I don't know how she's a balanced type because her HP is 39k. She's literally in tank territory, but I don't ask questions. Her attack though is 3k, and then her defense stat is 3.2k. But Water Purse has been a staple in the game for a long time, and luckily Smart Study did not do her dirty. So let's go over here and take a look at her skills real quick. So for her 3-star skill, Adrenaline, attacks restore allies HP in amount equal to 10% of her own max HP. Notice I said own max HP. So the more HP that your Water Purse has, this is more geared towards beginning players, the more HP she's going to heal your squad. So you running your Water Purse on HP attack is a congratulations, you've played yourself moment. So please don't do that. Please don't do that. And then for her 5-star skill, she has Petrification, which grants an 80% chance to petrify targets for 1 turn. This isn't really a good move. This move is purely for stalling. Essentially, what Petrification does is stun that Mon in a way, but unlike stuns where they still take regular damage, Petrification just stops them in their tracks and they take literally like no damage at all. So its only purpose is for stalling. That's it. It's not used for damage. It's not used for crowd control. Nothing. Because at least with crowd control you can actually damage them on. Petrification you can't unless they made a skill sometime in the future that can kind of like benefit from Petrification, but that's a whole nother RNG fest I don't want to talk about. But anyways, her ultimate skill is HP Aggression, which when her HP is at 50% or below, her attack power becomes proportional to her own max HP. So suddenly things are lining up here. So let's say for instance my purse is on she has triple HP gems on her. Well, her Adrenaline is going to heal pretty chunky with her already base of nearly 40k HP. And then if they try and nuke my baby girl at 50% or below, HP Aggression kicks in, meaning her attack is going to be scaled up to her own max HP. Meaning she's not only going to be able to do damage, but she can also heal, which means this is where it gets spicy. Because if you don't nuke her and she, if she doesn't die, then not only does she have HP Aggression, well, not only do you have HP Aggression to worry about in terms of a boost in damage to her. I'm not going to say it's, oh my goodness, Water Purse hits like a butt cheek on a stick. I'm not saying that. I'm saying you now have to worry about her doing additional damage that you no longer, her doing additional damage that you could ignore, and also the fact that she can also heal 10% of her own max HP to the entire squad. So things get kind of spicy. And that's a really good ultimate skill in my opinion. It just helps solidify Water Purse as being one of the greatest of all time passive healers, which technically she is the greatest of all time passive healer. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. But in terms of her skill books though, Adrenaline gets a 20% damage boost and then also goes up to 15%, pretty chunky. Petrification gets a 10% damage boost and it goes to not 90% but 100% for one turn. Pretty lackluster. If you were to book Water Purse, pray to the gods, man, that you just get that 5% and you just run off. Like, that's it. That's all you need. But very, very good mon, especially as a beginner player. You can use her in places where survivability is hard for your mons to kind of get through, because I remember Water Purse being my first Nat 5 on my main account when I first played, and she helped me a lot because there's places where I was trying to do stuff, but unfortunately with my poor knowledge of gems and my sick, nasty, just awful Astromon, things took a lot longer because they were dealing literally no damage, but I could at least get through the content because she could passively heal them. But once you hit mid game, she kind of like disappears in my opinion, and it's not until like in game or late game does she reappear once she's like Evo 3 and you have her on a good set, because she's honestly just a decent PvP mon outside of using her in places where you need passive healing in PvE, which once you get to like late game you shouldn't need that, but still a very, very great mon. Alright, and then last, you guys, but not least, we have Fire Purse, who's a balance type. She's coming in with 33k HP, 3.4k attack, and then 3.1k defense. So stat distribution wise, pretty similar to the other balance purses, and I have no complaints about that. It's fine. For what she does, it's perfectly fine. For her 3-star skill, she has Sap, which grants 80% chance to inflict the enemy with 2 types of Sap for 1 turn. And then for her 5-star skill, she has Sap, which grants 100% chance to inflict the enemy with 2 types of Saps for 2 turns. Now, this should ring a bell because I just reviewed, not Water Purse, but Wood Purse. And her 3-star skill is very similar to Fire Purse's. However, Wood Purse's is 100% chance for 2 types of Sap for 1 turn. Fire Purse is only 80%. Still, that's pretty good. At the end of the day, 2 times Sap, 80% chance, that's still pretty good. Turn duration isn't all that great, but it's still pretty good. And then for her 5-star skill, she has her AoE Sap, which has a 100% chance of 2 times Sap for 2 turns. We're packing. Like, this is what you want out of a sapper, especially as a dedicated sapper, because you don't have to rely on any type of RNG or anything of that nature. Like, you can literally apply those saps and get things stacking up really, really quickly, which is the big appeal of sap. Most of your damage that comes from sap is it being stacked on, and not kind of this weird champ thing with Wood Purse of where she can only apply saps on her 3-star skill. So if she starts spamming her 5-star skill, which is attack down, where's your sap stacks at? That's my criticism towards Wood Purse and her weird champ skill set. But her ultimate skill grants a 15% chance, reduces enemies' resistance for 2 turns upon attacking an enemy suffering sap. So not anywhere near as bad as Wood Purse's, but at the same time it just, I don't know dude, it just hits different because yes, her moves are applying sap. Let's say for instance you bring in another sapper, this move should also proc with the other sapper as well. But with a 15% chance of her getting this move off, is that something you really want to rely on? If you bring in another mon that has resistance down on them, then there's literally, this ultimate skill is literally once again nullified. Like, by no means am I saying this is freaking, you know, this is terrible, this is just awful. But at the same time, it runs into the same issue of Wood Purse of, if I bring another mon, this skill literally brings nothing to the table. So it's just like, why? Why would I even have this? Why would I ultimate evo her? Like, I just don't see the practical way of doing this, especially in concerns to like B15 for example. I don't have a Evo 3 Fire Purse to test out in there, but I like to use a more tankier mon, which is Dark Yuki in that situation. So this ultimate skill doesn't even apply to anything. But anyways, for her 3-star skill sap, that gets a 15% damage increase. It goes to 100% chance for 2 turns, which, congratulations, is now on par with a fully booked up Wood Purse for her 3-star skill. Then for her 5-star skill, her sap times 2, 100% chance for 2 turns, goes to 3 turns, and it also receives a 20% damage increase. Still good in terms of like bookage, but obviously if you had a dark purse, if you had a light purse, or a water purse, I would put my books into those girls before I would put it into fire purse. Because don't get me wrong, fire purse is like the top tier sapper in my opinion. If you guys haven't checked out the sapper tier list, check it out. She's up there. Very, very good sapper. But my argument here to you is that her ultimate evolution just doesn't bring anything to the table. If she's surviving already, why go through the process of the ultimate evolution? Though it isn't anywhere near as punishing a super evolution, but why go through the process of giving her that for her ultimate evolution skill if it's just completely nullified because I bring another mon with resistance down? I mean, this is a big reason as to why her and Wood Purse were so low on the ultimate evolution tier list, because the value that you get from these two is just like, this changes nothing. 15%, 17%, this changes nothing. But anyways, I'll end the video off basically stating the best purses that you should build. So essentially here, Fire Purse without a doubt is one of the best sappers in the game, if not the best sapper. So if you need a dedicated sapper for like Golems B10, Golems B11, Golems B15, make sure you get a Fire Purse. Is Evo 3 necessary for her, especially up to Golems B11, I believe? No, you don't have to get her to Evo 3, but I think for B15, obviously Evo 3 would be a wise decision there. Water Purse has been a big staple in like PvP defensive teams because of her innate ability to do passive healing, and she's also very helpful for newer players in terms of getting through PvE because your damage is just utter garbage, which we've all been there. So Water Purse is another great mon to have at Evo 3. Light Purse, without a doubt, is a very, very good mon. I would love to have gotten one during the Primo Festival, but I instead elected myself to get scammed during the Heroes Festival. And then Dark Purse, once again, Dark Purse, without a doubt, is top tier. That is the #1 purse on my list. #1, followed by Light Purse, followed by Water Purse, and followed by Fire Purse. Literally, the only purse I don't recommend you Evo 3ing. You can Evo 2 her, you can use her as your sapper or whatever, none of my business. But the only purse I wouldn't recommend Evo 3ing unless it's for the Astro Guide is simply Wood Purse. But yeah, that's it, you guys. Feel free to leave any comments below about purses. How do you feel about the ultimate evolutions? Am I being a little bit too harsh with her ultimate skill? I don't feel like I am, because literally you bring another Astromon in there, congratulations, the ultimate skill is nullified. But yeah, that's pretty much it, you guys. See ya.